This one will be for the birds. The Coastal Carolina Chanticleers get the Louisville Cardinals for the right to play in the best-of-3 series. And who will have a chance at winning the national championship? It's a Locked On Sunbelt.
You are Locked On Sunbelt, your daily podcast on the Sunbelt Conference, part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
All right, Dave Schultz, Locked On Sunbelt, your teams every day. Today's episode brought to you by Monarch Money. Take control of your finances with Monarch Money. Use code LOCKEDONCollege at monarchmoney.com for 50% off your first year. All right, we will get to what we think might be the pitching matchups. Let's recap a little bit of the Louisville ball game, as they will get Coastal Carolina gets Louisville. And you got to give Louisville credit. I mean, their backs were against the wall. Not easy to get to where they are playing for a chance to play again. All right, make sure we understand where we are. We'll also get to Texas State moving along. Not official yet, as far as I know. Not that I have any sources. I didn't see any new news on Tuesday. It may come down by the time this lands on Wednesday. We will get to that. But don't make any mistake about it, why they're leaving. All right. Don't kill me. It's about branding. No. It's about the cash. All right. But usually you don't get to this point losing the first game of the College World Series. And this is this is a tough spot for Louisville. And Coastal Carolina is absolutely has the advantage. We are going to now deal with the Kevin Schnall, I'm the smartest man in the room situation, because he didn't pitch Cam Fluke to begin with. He pitched Riley EICKOFF. So instead of having a fully rested Riley EICKOFF to pitch in this ball game, we have a slightly rested Riley EICKOFF, we think, and Luke Jones. Those are the two guys that Coach Schnall said is going to pitch. We'll get to that later on. Anyways, so Louisville had to go through. They lost to Oregon State. And again, we've seen this a lot. One of the flukier games going when they actually had a man caught stealing. All right, which I don't have a problem being aggressive instead of waiting around for what was going to probably be 2 base hits to score the tying run. We're going to make you make a play. I don't have a problem with that. And then an error by who was a great shortstop, one of the top shortstops in baseball, was shortstop for Oregon State, throws the ball away. And then the catcher, backing the play up, drops the ball. Doesn't slip out of his hand. He actually drops the baseball. And the Louisville runner ends up at third base. They tie the ball game up. They lose it in the 9th. Okay. Now you have to play Arizona, who Coastal beat, just to survive. They're down, I think, 3-0. They get it to 3-1. They get it to 3-2. The sky falls in on Arizona. Louisville scores, I guess, 6 runs in the 8th inning. And they go on to that 8-3 victory just to get to Tuesday's ball game against Oregon State. So now they got to beat Oregon State, in which they were ahead the whole game. All right. Not technically, I think I said in the recap, a come from ahead victory. Usually you fall behind in those games, which they did not do. They were ahead all ball game. It's 1-0, 2-0. I don't know if it was 4-0, but I saw 4-2, 4-3, 5-3, 6-3. They did have a chance to add on to it. They hit into a double play in the 8th, and they could not do it. And then before he blinked in the 9th, leadoff man for Oregon State makes it 6-4. They load the bases, and then Louisville's shortstop, unfortunately, has one go, not really through the glove. You want to say through the wickets. Elicia missed, unfortunately for him, the base runner on in second, the ball, and Elicia all basically got to the same spot at the same time. The runner was a little bit in front of him, but he missed, which should have been a double play. Don't think that would have ended the inning, but it would have been 2 outs. All right. And instead, 2 runs come home, and it's a tie ball game, 6-6. Eventually, another runner gets on base, and the bases are loaded. And you're thinking Oregon State's going to take the lead. Instead, they got out of it. And now Louisville comes to the plate, and it's 6-6 ball game. I mean, they struck out 2 guys, and they got to pop up to the first baseman to get out of it. Louisville comes up. When you know it, LSU leads off, gets on base. They get catcher's interference. Wouldn't you know it? Again, don't see that very often. Although I guess they said we've seen it more often lately. I don't know if we've seen it. I haven't seen every inning of the College World Series. I don't know if you've seen it in the College World Series, but that puts runners on at first and second. Bunt play. Pitcher can't make the play. Load the bases. They do strike out 1 on a borderline call, and then Eddie King Jr. fly ball to center field. That ends it. Louisville wins it 7-6. And so you got to be impressed with Louisville. Now, it needs to be said, we'll do this with the pitching matchups here in a second. Louisville's got the advantage, all right? Whoever they're pitching, Coastal Carolina's got the advantage because, again, they're only playing their 3rd game. Louisville's playing their 4th, and Louisville certainly has used their bullpen over the last few games. That it hasn't been, these great starts where everybody's going 6 or 7 innings. They have used numerous pitchers. Also, needs to be mentioned, Louisville needs to win 2 ball games to advance. Coastal only needs to win 1. That pitching depth advantage kind of evens itself out if we get to Thursday. That's going to be a problem for Coastal a little bit. It evens itself out, all right? And who knows who Louisville has for Thursday if it gets that far. Worry about that later. But, and then it evens itself out. So right now, it appears Coastal has the advantage. I did ask. I could say a source, but we can go look at his Locked On Louisville, Locked On Cards, Locked On Louisville podcast, Dalton Pence. We'll talk about who he think may be pitching for the Cards, and we'll talk about who's pitching for Coastal Carolina after this. But it is Coastal Carolina versus the Louisville Cardinals. The winner, whether that comes Wednesday night, if it's Coastal, or if it is Louisville on Wednesday, they will play again on Thursday. And the winner of that ball game will go on to play the winner of the best of 3 series. That's the other side of the bracket. Looks like it's going to be LSU, but that would make that will be for the national championship. All right. Coastal Carolina is in great position. We'll talk about pitching matchups when we come back after I tell you about Monarch Money. Ever check your bank account and wonder, where'd all my money go? Between dining out, online shopping, and entertainment, it's easy to lose track. That's where Monarch Money comes in, your personal CFO, giving you full visibility and control over your finances. Monarch Money isn't just a budgeting app. It's a complete financial command center. You can track all your accounts, investments, and spending in one place. So you stop just managing your money and start building wealth. Instead of juggling multiple apps, you can use Monarch to check your finances, track spending, and even plan long-term goals. Managing money with your partner is smoother than ever. You can track shared and personal accounts, set goals, and stay on the same page without the stress. Take control of your finances with Monarch Money. Use code LOCKEDONCOLLEGE at monarchmoney.com for 50% off your first year. That's monarchmoney.com, code LOCKEDONCOLLEGE for half off your first year. All right, Dave Schultz, Locked On Sunbelt, your teams every day. And it's Coastal Carolina versus the Louisville Cardinals. Interesting. I don't have a problem saying Chanticleers. I live here in Louisville. I think I said on the recap I was going Louisville. I guess it's Louisville. Ironic. Nonetheless, it is the Chanticleers versus the Louisville Cardinals for the right to play in the best of 3 series. Okay, so for Coastal, I did see Kevin Schnall. I guess it was from Brandon Dunn covering for TV from South Carolina. That it will be Riley EICKOFF versus Luke Jones. Okay. Which way do you go? You could go either way. Do you ride the freshman who started and pitched pretty well, the Sun Belt Championship Series, got out of like a bases loaded, 1 out, no out jam. I don't think he gave up anything. And that was mostly Southern Miss fans in the crowd. All right. And so he pitched pretty well. He's obviously rested, hasn't pitched in a minute. All right. In fact, is that the last time he's pitched? When was the last time he pitched? So that may be a thing too, right? When was the last time he pitched? And so do you go Luke Jones? Because I'm not sure. My concern would be if Riley has issues, are we going to go to the freshman? I might want to go the other way. If the freshman struggles, I might want to go the other way. I could start off with the freshman and then go to Riley. All right. I presume he's going to start off with Riley. I have no idea. All right. But obviously the bullpen is incredibly rested with Ryan Lynch, Carbone, Hayden Johnson. All those guys are raring to go. Let's see the last time Luke Jones pitched. Wouldn't you know it? Was Southern Miss. Talk about a minute. I mean, so it was the Sun Belt Championship game. So, I mean, that's almost 4 weeks. That's been a while. So it's not quite a month. Well, 4 weeks is a month, but I mean, 25th to the 31st is 6 days. And that's going to be 18. So 24. That's a long time. So it's been a while. So he's well rested. Hashtag always a bright side. So I'm not sure you're going to want to. Here's the problem. If you start him, you can't have him come in for Riley, because if he's not any good, then you're stuck. So I would presume we're going to go. Kevin Schnall is going to go with Riley EICKOFF. That's what I'm thinking. All right. And again, you do have plenty in the pen to get it done. And again, just like we've been saying, just don't count Louisville out. All right. Just like Auburn, just like Oregon State, just like Arizona, these teams don't go away. All right. And just like Coastal Carolina, these teams don't go away. The only thing that I am a little concerned about, Coastal's bats haven't really gotten going yet. That's the only thing. Like they scored 3 runs in the first inning, but that was all on one basically base hit, right? Wasn't a error, hit by pitch, and a walk that got everybody on base, and then Thorndike's 3-run double, right? And then the 2 other runs came home on an error and a wild pitch, right? The only run that was produced with like hits was Dean Mijos. Hold on a second. Was Dean Mijos's RBI a base hit later on in the game, the 6th run of the game. So the bats haven't exactly gotten going just yet. That would be my only minor concern. Now, as far as Louisville is concerned, Dalton Pence did tell me from my sister show, said Lockdown Cards, that they could be looking at Patrick Forbes. Now, he started the first game. He pitched against Arizona on the 13th. That can't be right. Hold on a second. That's not right. Is that right? That can't be right. He pitched against, hold on. Patrick Forbes pitched against Oregon State. I'm sorry, not Arizona. He pitched against Oregon State on the 13th. Okay. And that's still not a whole lot of days off. All right. That's 2 short days. That's Saturday, Sunday, Monday, Tuesday. That's 4 days rest. All right. And you still need somebody to, if you're Louisville, I know you have to, win Wednesday to get to Thursday, but you still have to plan on Thursday, right? That's the thing. You can't go all in on Wednesday. You understand. I understand you have to win Wednesday, because without winning Wednesday, there's no Thursday. And I guess once you get to Thursday, anything can happen. Who knows, right? A bad call, bad bounce. We see this. It's all fluky. I guess at that point in time, that may change what Coastal does. They may use Cam Flukie if it gets to Thursday. That's the only thing. That may change what happens later on in down the road, because I happen to think that Cam Flukie is going to pitch on Saturday, only based on Kevin Schnall being really consistent with Jacob Morrison, has not pitched on short rest at all. Right? The regular season moved up Thursday, Friday, Saturday. Morrison stayed on Friday. The Sun Belt, tournament, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, a Saturday, Sunday, he stayed on Friday. Regional, he pitched on Saturday. They held him back till Saturday. And then Super, he pitched, didn't pitch Friday, he pitched on Sunday. So I would presume they're keeping Morrison for that, for the Sunday ball game. Now, having said that, it is 1 day of short rest. It's the last game of the season. It's his last start of the year. I don't know. I'm sure they're talking about who's going to start what. That all depends on what happens on Wednesday. I mean, they may need to use Cam Flukie on Wednesday. I'm sure they're going to avoid trying to do that at all costs. That if they can get away with Riley EICKOFF, Luke Jones, Hayden Johnson, Dominic Carbone, and Ryan Lynch, that's 1, 2, 3. That's 5 pitchers, right? And then if you win, you get Thursday and you get Friday off. Everybody is rested for Saturday. Most importantly, Johnson, Lynch, and Carbone. All right. EICKOFF would come back potentially on Monday. So that's Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday. He'd have 4 days rest. Now, we'll see. But that's what I think it is. That's what I think it's going to be. I think it's going to be Riley EICKOFF. And depending on if the bats come around, which again, we'll see what Patrick Forbes has left. If it's him, there are some guys in the Cards bullpen. I don't think they've pitched a whole heck of a lot. And, I don't think Ethan Eberle is going to pitch much. All right. You do have a guy named Peter Michael. It's 4-3, 4.81. He's got 13 starts under his belt. They have to figure out a way to get 27 outs. And again, you do have to be focused if you're Louisville on Wednesday, but somewhere in the back of your mind, you do have to have something for Thursday. Don't worry about the best of 3 series later. That'll take care of itself later on. But if you're Louisville, I have to have something for Thursday, or else Wednesday isn't going to be worth it, I guess. Or Dan McConnell could say, if I don't get to Thursday, if I don't finish off Wednesday, it doesn't matter about Thursday. I guess you could take that attitude. All right. Got to save something for Thursday. But we'll see. It could be Patrick Forbes on 4 days rest. One of those things where we'll see how long you can go. We're going to take it 1 inning at a time, 3 outs at a time type of deal. All right. We'll see how it is. Maybe it could be one of those things. Patrick, I need you to give me 50 pitches. Maybe less. I need you to go around the order 1 time. If that is 3 innings, great. Let's get you out of there. All right. And I'm going to piece the rest of the game together. But I need you to get me started. I need you to give me 30 to 50 pitches. I need you to go all out. All right. I can't have you holding anything back. But you're not seeing the 4th or 5th innings. So give me 9 outs, and I will figure the rest out later. That could be the case. One of those, because kind of starters, it's not like a reliever who's going to go, maybe 6 outs, but are usually going 3 these days, who can just go all out for every single pitch. Starters do have to, hold something back for their innings. They have to, pace themselves. Whereas maybe he just says, Patrick, give me what you got for 3 innings. That could be it. So we'll see what Louisville does. It is a 2:00 p.m. ball game, and it's a 1 p.m. Central Time. So it should be a good ball game. I'm not doing too much on. Let's see what I am doing on Wednesday. I have a tasting in the morning. May not be doing too much where I might be able to watch a little bit. All right, let's talk more Texas State. They got a huge reaction on yesterday's episode. I don't have a problem if it's about the money. I really don't. It's great. It's about the money. All right, and I'll tell you why right after I continue to thank you. I mean, we've had more than 100 subscribers over the last month. In fact, we've had like about 60 subscribers over the last couple of weeks. And it goes back to the Southern Miss guys. It goes back to Coastal and now Texas State. And the longer this goes on, the more content we're going to be able to provide. And I do thank you. All right. This episode, not the shorts, but this episode is the biggest one since, this Cajuns baseball crisis, which I don't think is really a crisis, but had a bad season. So I thank you guys for tuning in. I had as many comments as I've had in a long time. I will try to get to them. I didn't get to all of them, so that's my apologies. I do appreciate people commenting. All right, for the most part, relatively straightforward, not necessarily rude. I try not to be rude. Tough to not be sarcastic. I am sarcastic. But the sarcasm sometimes doesn't come through on the internet. So I appreciate it. Please don't forget the podcast, Apple Podcasts, Spotify. Please download those as well. Please subscribe to those as well. Do appreciate it. Like and subscribe, all that good stuff. Really do appreciate it. It is again, appreciated. All right, let's get back to Texas State. All right. Dave Schultz, Lockdown Sunbelt, your teams every day. All right. Still no new news that we have heard with Texas State apparently heading to the Pac-12. All right. I thought I saw someone tweet out it's got to be before July 1st or else the buyout clause goes higher, something like that. So it's going to be in the next couple of weeks. Oh, okay. And someone did say, I don't know which way it was that he was going for. When the players leave for more money, they're the villain. But now the school is doing it. I don't have a problem with players leaving for more money. I really don't. And I'm not sure I have a problem. In fact, I don't have a problem with the school leaving for more money. I don't. And admittedly, Texas State is in the middle. Is I don't want to say is in a no-win situation, but I'm not sure how much your situation improves outside of the money. And if it's a lot of money, it's a lot of money. I don't know if, the Sun Belt ever went out after UTSA to get a partner for Texas State, or Sam Houston, something along those lines, just to prevent this from happening. All right. It's big for the Sun Belt to have a team in Texas. All right. But I'm seeing, Pac-12 fans saying you're going to get Texas kids going to Pac-12 schools. Are we really? Is that what's going to happen? Because in the Sun Belt, they like to stay at home. All right. They want to be able to drive. They want mom and dad to be able to drive to the school. Maybe it's just Louisiana. It's a talent-rich state. Billy Napier said, I don't have to drive more than 300 miles away. Now, that's going into probably Mississippi and Alabama and Texas and Arkansas, but I don't have to drive more than 300 miles away from Lafayette to go recruit, right? Because we want mom and dad and grandma and grandpa and the aunts and uncles to be able to pick up on Friday afternoon and drive to the game. All right. Getting to Pullman, Washington ain't easy. Getting to Corvallis ain't easy. Staying at a hotel in San Diego on the weekend ain't cheap. Just saying. All right. Getting to Fresno, California ain't easy. All right. Probably getting to Gonzaga ain't easy. All right. I don't want to hear about the branding. All right. Boise State, getting to Boise State ain't going to be easy. All right. Boise State's got the branding for football. They sure do. All right. San Diego State used to have it, right? That's where Marshall Falk went. But do we have any branding for San Diego State for football lately? No. The branding for San Diego State is that they play really good defense for basketball. That's their branding. Gonzaga's got the branding for basketball. Boise State's got the branding for football, and Oregon State, up until they lost, they have the branding for baseball. Absolutely. But there's not a whole lot of branding for the new Pac-12. They're not Power 5. I don't know why anyone thinks they are. They're getting a bunch of G5 teams to join them. So they're not Power 5. They're not. Someone said that Oregon State and Washington State had bigger viewing audience, had higher ratings than the Cals and the Stanfords and the Arizona States. Oh, really? You think so? Because Oakland and San Francisco are pro cities. Phoenix is a pro town. All right. Arizona State probably isn't in the top 3 when it comes to sports teams in Phoenix. And neither are Stanford and Cal are in the top 3 in the Bay Area. When you have multiple, they had multiple football teams. When you had a football team, you had multiple baseball teams. They're losing that. They had multiple sports franchises there. And so college is going to lose. So those are major cities. Very, very few big league cities, have their college sports. I would venture a guess. They didn't start talking about the Houston Cougars until the NCAA tournament. And I bet you they talked more about the Houston Cougars during the week of the Final Four than they did, but they talked more about that week in Houston on Sports Talk Radio than they did from the middle of November to the Final Four. They're talking NFL draft. They're talking Rockets, probably talking spring training. The Cougars are not high on the list of things they're talking about in Houston. All right. Now, at the week of the Final Four, they probably are. But before that, outside of the games that they're playing, they're not talking about them. They don't move the needle because it's a major league sports town. So I don't have a problem that Texas State is leaving. Disappointed that they are, but don't try to tell me it's anything more than straight cash, homie. Going all Randy Moss on you. Straight cash, homie. It is what it is. And again, they're in the tight spot. they're in no man's land. All right. They don't have a Texas, another team to play, like a UTSA or a Sam Houston or something along those lines. And so they got to go all the way out west. And it happened earlier on Tuesday. Unfortunately, ULM has decided to close down their women's tennis team. Wouldn't be surprised if they have to close down a men's sports program as well, but you're going to find that along the way. Count how many, they're going to make a lot of money with this move, but count how many athletic programs Texas State has, and let's see what it is in the next 3 years. Because it is going to cost them a lot of money for them to travel over the next few years. So we shall see. All right. I'm not sure it's going to work out. I'm not rooting against it. That's not in my nature. But don't try to give me some bull that it's anything other than money. As again, Randy Moss said, straight cash, homie. It's all about that, which is okay. But that's what it's about. No, don't try to tell me it's about building rivalries with Colorado State. Stop. And Fresno State. Stop. It's all about the money, which is fine. But don't try to tell me it's about anything other than that. All right. All right. We will have a full recap of the Coastal Carolina ball game for Thursday's episode, and we'll keep you updated should there be a Texas State announcement as well. All right. Thank you so much for tuning in. Have a great Wednesday, everybody. Enjoy the baseball. We'll be back with Thursday with another edition of Locked On Sunbelt. Your teams every day